Hey, how you doing today? Talked a little bit about paying off a rental property or a house earlier, looking at the 30-year versus the 15-year mortgage, and talking about the benefits of each. So I've done both. I've owned both. I've owned a 30-year mortgage and a 15-year mortgage, and talked about both because they're both very different. One, you've got to have more money down for the other, because if you don't have the minimal amount, at least 20%, I believe, and then you got to pay PMI, so you're paying a little bit extra on your mortgage, and so that's really going to cost you a little bit more. So I'm going to show you on a calculator, and really you can work it out yourself, figure it out yourself. You can do the same thing yourself, because if you're looking to buy a house, it'll give you an idea on what you need to plan for, what you need to think about, because you don't want to pay PMI if you don't have to, because really you're paying the bank extra money. And if you're paying the bank extra money, you can also always look at refinancing a place and getting a different mortgage, which is, another thing you can look at, but you got to make sure are you making money when you do that? So there's a lot of costs that need to go into this, and, it may work out for you, it may not. So let me go really quickly and show you on the mortgage calculator. You can do it yourself, check it out yourself. You can just Google it. I'm going to talk to you really quick about how to do it and see which one really makes sense for you, because you may not be owning your house, or you're maybe looking to buy a house the next year in 2020 or the next year after that, but you've got to have, it's only basic math. You got to have the math figured out, and if it makes sense for you, then you'll see which one works out best for you. I can't tell you which is the best, but depending on your budget, how much money you have and how much you're willing to spend, how much you're willing to put down, and if you're planning to live in that house for at least 7 to 10 years, that's probably the best way if you're going to go buy a house. If you're not planning to live there that long, unless you plan to rent it, I really wouldn't recommend you buying a house if you're not going to plan to live there at least 5 to 7 years. All right. All right, morning, afternoon, evening. Pastor from the top, bringing another show this Sunday. Talk about the difference between 15 and 30-year loans. A lot of people, you may already have a loan, but you may not. Quickly go over that and talk to you about the differences between the two and the different options you can get it for these loans, as well as what the difference is between a 15 and a 30-year loan, and which one makes more sense for you, because in all cases it's going to be different for everybody, not always the same for you or for me or for the next person. All right, so the most easy way is to get a loan through the bank. Banks will offer you a 15 or 30-year loan, so you got to make sure you have everything all the pieces together. You gotta have the money down for that the house. You gotta have the money available. You also have good credit for the most part, and the better credit you have, the better interest rate you'll get from the bank. In addition, try not to spend a lot of things before you decide to buy a house. Because they will pull your credit report. You want to have the best credit report you can have as possible. Another one, you can also look at a mortgage broker. A mortgage broker will look at different options for loans that are available out there. And so they won't just, a bank was limited by so many options, but a mortgage broker or mortgage lender will get different loans that are available at the time. Or you can get seller financing. That's pretty much going through the current owner of the house. You're going to buy it from them. So they're the bank. So you're pretty much paying them the money to buy that house, instead of going through a bank or through a mortgage broker. Or you can get the hard money lender. This is more for the investors, trying to do a trying to flip the property. Those are the ones. You're going to pay a higher interest rate, but you've got to be careful, because you want to make sure you can get out of that deal as quick as you can, so you can pay back that lender. Otherwise, the interest rates are going to be ridiculous, and you really don't want to be in that boat. So just be careful with that. And or you can also go to a private investor. This is more for trying to work out a deal for you. You might be able to split it, work it out between them, and get the best deal possible. Okay, so now I pulled up everyone here is probably in different locations here in the U.S. I'm just going to use the U.S. S&P Case-Shiller Home Index Price Index. Currently, they're listing at homes at $218,000 for home sales. And so now we're going to use the Dave Ramsey handy dandy, mortgage calculator. It's free to use. Anyone can just Google it, Dave Ramsey mortgage calculator, and it'll pop right up. And so I've already plugged in the numbers: $218,000 for the home value. So pretty much, if you want to put down 20%, if you're putting down 20%, that helps you avoid PMI, which is
property and mortgage insurance. Because of that, you're going to avoid paying extra additional fees to that bank or the lender. So you've got to put down at least 20% or something, maybe different at other places, but I'm using this as an example right now. So you can put down $43,000 for this house for a 30-year loan. Interest rate about 4.3%. You'll probably get a better interest rate than what I'm quoting you here, but I'm just going by what just pulled up. And so you're paying about $1,136 for your monthly payment, which includes the principal and the interest, which is pretty much what you're paying the lender. And what you're paying for the property taxes, about $200 a month, and the home insurance is about $71. All these are just examples because they may be different in your location. So, and then now we'll look at looking at a 15-year loan. A 15-year loan, you're paying less interest because of that. You see in the previous example with the 30-year loan, you're paying a lot higher interest. But with the 15-year loan, you're paying a lower interest rate. And so your price drops down to, or increase up to $1,531 for your monthly payment. Principal's interest is $1,261, property taxes $200, and home insurance still $71. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the difference between whether you're going to own the house yourself versus being a passive income investor, drawing the cash flow from that property, because there's pros and cons to each one. I'm going to go really quickly, give you different benefits to each one and cons to each one as well. Okay, now I'm going to quickly go through this, being an owner versus a passive income investor, with your rental property, because there's pros and cons to each one. I'm going to really talk about the pros to each one and then look at the differences so you can get a better idea yourself. So as an owner, I recommend you have to really stay at the house at least 5 years or more, because if you're staying there too short, it's really going to be hard to cash flow. And plus, if there's a crash that comes, you could really be underwater when you do that. So make sure you plan to stay at least 5 years in property. Otherwise, you're not really making much out of it. And plus, when it comes time to sell it, you're really going to really break even, or you may even come underwater when you're trying to sell the property. Make sure plus you're owning the house. This is your house. You don't have to worry about dealing with the tenant. You don't have to deal with the landlord. You don't have to deal with, if you want to paint the house a certain color, you can do whatever you want. There's no guidelines. You can do what you want because it's your house. At the same time, you're building equity when you own this house. So when you sell it, you can hopefully, you're selling it more than when you bought it for. You can pull out some equity, and that it'll work in your favor in this case. And if you happen to break something in the house and you fix it, what you normally do. But if you were a renter, then you got to deal with the landlord or the property manager, and then they got to come have somebody come by and fix it for you. Work on their timeline, their schedule, and everything. But if you own it, you can fix it when you feel like it, work it out, and make everything work in the best of your ability. On the other hand, if you're a passive income investor, a lot more different rules come into play. I recommend, even after you pay your property, you're paying the taxes, you're paying the insurance, all the interest and everything, I recommend you have to cash flow at least $200, because if you're not cash flowing $200, you're really going to be very tight, because there's going to be some times when you got to pay for something in the property, and that's more money you got to pull out of your pocket. So I recommend at least $200 a month, and then you're building up more reserves for that passive income property, because when you do that, you're not digging in your own pocket to make these repairs. You can do it with yourself, deal with the property, or you can work with a property manager. I encourage you to vet, check out a couple of different property managers, because they're all different, and some may work for you and some may not. So personally, I use property managers, and you can check my video above. I talked a little bit about it because it makes my life so much easier. I can do other things. I consider making my videos, not to deal with the tenants all the time. Unless, the next one's a tenant, you've got a property manager, or you go find that tenant, to live in that property. You got to advertise, you got to market the place, and that could be simple or it could be an easy process. But, property manager has the systems already set up. They have their website set up. It's a lot easier than, trying to post things on Facebook or different sites that try to find that renter to come live in your place. And then you got to deal with the property taxes. A lot of times the property tax will be built in when you're paying your mortgage if you're doing through a lender. So But it's a lot easier to do. You don't have to really worry about it because a lot of times we'll be pulled out of your money you're already getting from that property itself. And based on your bank will separate between what you pay for your property, your interest and your taxes, and they'll have that separate. So they'll pay your property taxes, if it's all set up correctly, and usually they will. And then if you can either work with the property manager to find the contractors to make these little repairs that come up, or if you're not dealing with a property manager, then you've got to find the contractors to come up with these little repairs to fix up your place. And another thing with the passive income property, you're getting a lot of tax benefits because a lot of things I just mentioned earlier, you're paying for the property manager and paying for the property taxes, when you're paying for anything for the contractors, any repairs in the place, a lot of that you can use for write-offs on the property. So it's an additional tax benefit you can get. And, when you're dealing with a REIT for stocks, a REIT for stocks, real estate investment trusts, you don't get these tax benefits when you do when you're owning a property. So there's the pros and cons to each one. I'm giving you, the pros mostly, because I deal with both. I own REITs and I own houses, so I enjoy the tax benefits I get. Because when it comes down to paying tax at the end of the year, or April 15th, or in October, I don't really owe very much for my property taxes or my income taxes, because I have all these benefits that are writing it off. That's the beauty of it. If you have a REIT, you don't get these benefits, so you're still paying Uncle Sam, full dollar amount. So if you're not already a passive income investor for real estate, I encourage you to check it out. Do your research. If you have any questions or comments, leave me a comment below. I'll try to help you out, answer as best I can. But hey, that's really all I got. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, like this video, click bell for notification, because I'm going to bring another video this coming Friday. And I'm also going to bring another video this Wednesday, because I'm doing a special collab with another YouTuber. So I hope you enjoy your day, enjoy your Sunday, or whatever day you watch this. Come back again and take care. Enjoy your day.